Alright guys, I will give you guys my thoughts, my very early thoughts on the meta. Keep in mind that we've only had this meta for the past 2 days. Now I have played a lot, I think a total of 11 arenas or so, which might not sound like that many, but keep in mind that if you're doing half decent, it's probably going to be 2 hours-ish long. So a lot of those runs were not half decent, but lots of experience now given the time frame of 2 days. So here's what I've learned so far. If you have not played a lot, you might not know this yet, but Rogue is really strong right now. We can see on HS Replay that it's reaching 58% win rate. If you're not familiar with the win rates, that might sound like, oh, that's just good, but that's crazy. That is really strong. So expect a nerf on that. Now I'll dive right into that because you might say, hey, Rogue is really strong. I want to play that. What can I do? So this is the deck I played yesterday. This is a 10-win Rogue, and I was quite sleep deprived, played very sloppy, and the deck and the class still carried me all the way to 10. I'm quite sure, had I drafted when I was a bit more awake, had I played it when I was a bit more awake, it would have probably gone 12 quite easily even. Now what changed? The theory right now is that the micro adjustments that kept Rogue down are gone. So that means that Rogue on average got a lot worse cards than most other classes, and that is now no longer the case. So Sap is back, Eviscerate is back, you get all these Backstab, all these strong Rogue class cards that we only got a little bit of before. Now, my first pick, I get like Eviscerate, Sap, and all that. So lots of good Rogue cards are back. On top of that, we have this guy, the Evil Miscreant. It's a 3-mana 1/5 with combo, meaning you can't just play it on curve unless you coin and play a 1-drop, etc. It will give you 2 lackeys. Now the lackeys are very powerful. I'm not going to go like super in depth, right? It's not a full meta video, just my thoughts. But the lackeys, they do more than you think they do, because your first instinct might be paying 3 mana for a 1/5. That's the inverse Magma Rager. I always forget his name. Like it's literally Magma reversed. It's bad, right? The stat line. But one of the lackeys is the Evolve lackey, for instance, which can just turn it into a 4-drop. Hey, your tempo loss is gone because now your 3-mana 1/5 is a random 4-drop, which could work out, could also not work out. One of the lackeys is going to give rush and get you back on the board. One of the lackeys is going to deal 2 damage, etc, etc. So they really help you recover that lost tempo. So the combination of them getting Evil Miscreant and lots of other good cards. I have not had a contract yet for Rogue. It's a very powerful removal card, so I assume once I get that, it will be even stronger. And of course, you can still randomly get a Henge Clan Thug and make your deck very powerful. So lots of factors there, but just keep in mind Rogue very strong. If you want to win right now, pick Rogue. Something I've been working on, just to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse of what the testing is, you can see here. Let me just pull this here. There you go. Now I can see. There are 4 major runs in a row here I did. Lots of them poorly because at the start I just, try this, try that, try this. And here we can like ding, right? 12-1. So this formula we're going to quickly look at so you can see what I tried to do here. I've been picking lots of early game with the reasoning that now that strong 3-drops such as Basilisk and Tark Reaper are gone, people are probably going to be more aggressive, which they are. So I want to counter that with my own early game. Now, I've probably overdone it in a lot of these major runs that did not. Once again, you can see that it's 3 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins, and then 1 12-win. So in those runs, I probably overdid it a little bit because here I went for a much I guess slower deck, you could say, but it's still fairly fast compared to previous standards. But everything is relative to the meta, of course. So we can see in this deck we have Zombie Chow and Lackey as 1-drops, and then as 2-drops, the Frog is sort of a 2, but not really. Mana Wraith, and then Sunreaver Spy, 2-mana 2/3 and Stable Ghoul. But not that many ones and twos combined for, you know, a faster meta. We can still see that there is a Pixie here for a 3-drop. There's 2 Tangle for Mystics for a 3-drop entity, and then some value. So what I've been trying to do with Mage is to pick lots and lots of minions that generate value. Minions like Messenger Raver, minions like Cabal Courier, to help me outvalue my opponents in case they are a bit slower. Because if you're playing against a very fast deck, just surviving will probably be enough. Now, what helped this deck survive is lots of AoE. We can see that the deck has a Volcanic Potion over here. It's very, very good at stopping early aggression. We can see a Blizzard, we can see a Corrupted Seer, we can also see a Tunnel Blaster. So that are already 4 instances of not huge AoE, such as a Flame Strike. It's more about just keeping early rush at bay, lots of 2 damage, 3 damage types AoE. Twilight Flamecaller is probably also really, really good right now. So if you get like 2 Flamecallers, it really, really helps you not die to aggro. And then for value, we've already touched on the Cabal Courier being here, the Messenger Raver being here. There's also a Book of Specters, there's an Arcane Intellect, there's Face of Summoner, which is still value. It's really good tempo, but it's also a pretty good value card. Exotic Mount Seller, maybe a bit of a sleeper, but you know, when you look at the card, you probably already expected it to be good because the stats are very decent. You get 5/8 for 7, that's decent. And then on top of that, you get a very nice effect. Every time you play a spell, you get a 3-drop beast. So if you only get 1 beast out of this, it's already a really strong card. So yeah, that also carried, of course. Power of Creation, very, very good as well. Burly Shovel Fist, not like insane value, but it's value that helps trim the board immediately because it gets to attack. Now, something I have noticed with Shovel Fist is that it's very, very awkward into your opponent's Shovel Fist. So you know, I'll have to play around it a bit more, but I have had a run where I seemed to be a little slower than my opponent, and then a lot of the time it was my Shovel Fist into his Shovel Fist to not take 9 to the face, which is really bad, of course. So I'll still need to play around a bit more with this card to see exactly how good it is. Batterhead, which is actually another form of cheap AoE, right? We have 3 damage here, 3 damage there. That's like the 5th strong AoE card in this deck. So yeah, so far the recipe that seems to work with Mage is to have some early game to defend yourself and then lots of good AoE. Polymorph also felt really good, I do have to say. So don't just skip over Poly straight away. You can get a lot of AoE effects. You can get a lot of Polymorph effects. So I try to get my AoE from other sources other than Flame Strike and Blizzard, because that's usually what you see. You get like Flame Strike, Blizzard, Poly, or like Flame Strike, Fireball, Poly. I'll pick the Polymorph there a lot of the time and then try to get AoE from other sources. So that's really what I've been working on so far. Maybe a third class to quickly touch upon, because as I said, I've only had 2 days of experience, but I do want to keep you guys in the loop of what I have been working on. We have the Druid here. That's a 7-win run. Once again, keep in mind, everything yesterday was pretty heavily sleep deprived, so I'll probably get a bit better data today. But yeah, lots of board buffs and just curve. That's something I will be playing around with Druid. I will try to get, you know, those good 1 and 2 drops. I did not get the Acorn guy or whatever it's called. It's a 1-mana 2/1, which Death Rattle gives you 2 1/1s in your hand. That's probably really, really good if you want to do this token-based style. So that's another class that's on my radar right now. I want to try out some more tokeny Druid, but more aggressive than the token Druid we used to play, because there's no more Basilisk, there's no more Tar Creeper, etc. Lots of powerful cards rotated out. So to summarize, a more, rather not so class specific, my take on the meta right now is that we have less reactive cards, it feels. So we don't have those rush minions we had in Rastakhan. There's no Sightless Ranger, there's no Amami Warbear. So when you get a lead on the board, it is tougher for your opponent to swing it. Yes, Dragonfire Potion is back in. Yes, we still have a Flame Strike. that may happen, but it does feel like we are going more towards the mentality of if they have it, rather than I know they have it. So a lot of the time that means you're going to sort of overextend on the board. Your feeling is gonna say you're overextending, but a lot of the time it's gonna be quite fine, and then you can just win the game very fast, as opposed to, you know, when every class has punishes. You know, we have Super Collider and Warrior, that's gone. We have Mass Hysteria and Priest, which was quite common. Dragonfire is stronger, I feel, than Mass Hysteria, but it's a lot more costly. Mass Hysteria was bucketed way lower than Dragonfire is. So overall, it feels less capability of swinging the board back, which means that getting 1s and 2s and getting a lead on the board matters more than it mattered, you know, 3 days ago. Then another one is that we're going to, well, because of that, right, 1s and 2s do get better, because it felt like 1-drops and 2-drops were sort of a waste in the previous meta. You just wanted strong 3s. I still think you want strong 3s, but there's not as many around, as I just mentioned. Heart Reaper rotated, Basilisk rotated, and probably lots of others. And some good 2-drops came with the set and from the previous expansion, so 2-drops are better. We can see here, for instance, Haunted Creeper, very strong 2-drop that is back. So an emphasis more on 1 and 2-drops rather than just the 3-drops than before. So I think those are the two big takes right now for me. One hand, less reactive stuff, so you can push your lead on the board better. The other hand, you're probably going to do that with 1s and 2s, not so much just 3-drops. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and I will keep you guys up to date on what I'm working on and what my thoughts on the meta are if they change. All right, see you guys next time.